Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome to another episode of Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy and this is my video blog series here on YouTube. I've been doing this alphabetical thing. I don't want to say too much about it right now because I've been talking about it for weeks and weeks. Check out the other episodes in this playlist to learn more about why I decided to do an ABCs series and how we got where we are now. And where we are now is the letter O. So for the letter O, I want to talk about open strings. Using open strings in your chord voicings and perhaps even in your melody playing. It's a really neat way to open up the guitar, especially if you play anything kind of jazzy. The tendency is to play these shapes that sound lovely but really tend to avoid any kind of open string thing because they're movable shapes. So we give up the charm of kind of open string sounds to have all these movable shapes. But I just want to encourage you to mix and match movable closed shapes with open shapes because it really adds a lot of dimension to the guitar. So obviously these chords down here in open position do incorporate open strings. That's sort of their nature. Bar chords and jazz chords do not. But you can discover some interesting open string kinds of sounds by just moving the common open position voicings up the neck and seeing what happens. So here's a C chord, for example. If I move that up one fret, it's mysterious. Not sure it would be easy to use in a song, but I like it. Oh, now that's really nice. That's a D chord with the 9 on top and the 4 right up against the third. So naming this chord might not be so easy, but the sound of it is easy to get. You have to call it like D add 9 add 4. All right. This is an E flat chord with a doubled third and a flat 9 on top. Again, maybe not useful in day-to-day guitar playing, but might be something that you could write a piece around that would include that sound. This is pretty weird because it's got the major third and the minor third. We get to F. Oh, all of a sudden now there's a really beautiful sound. So that's F major 7 with the 9, but I'd almost want to call it the 2 because it's right up against the third. So that's a lovely sound. Now, as you experiment like this, keep a journal or at least some kind of notes about which voicings you like and how you might use them. So, D. That's a pretty common sound. That's like using D to make D minor 7. And so on. You could move E up the neck. Gives you kind of a flamenco kind of sound. That's really cool. That becomes like E minor 7 and so on. Here's G. Pretty strange. Starts to get interesting. Oh wow. Up at C here, so it's got the 2 and the 3 right next to each other, and then a high 3, and so on. And you could do the same with minor chords. and that becomes A major 7. When you take A minor and move it up here at the 5th fret, it becomes A major 7. That's really nice. Yeah, the higher up you go, kind of the nicer it gets, because you wind up having some of the fretted notes be clustered right against the open strings. So you can take this really far if you want to, if you like the sound of it. So if you're curious, there's really a few different ways that you could explore. One is what I've been doing, where you just take chords that you already know and move them up the neck and see what happens. Another thing would be to take non-chords, but just little, 2-note grips that your fingers fall into. Just move those up the neck and see what happens. Interesting. Beautiful. Really beautiful. Again, you'd have to kind of figure out what it's called and how you might use it. You could even just take one note around. That's cool. Or 3 notes, and so on. So that's just a really exploratory way to find stuff. It takes time, and there will be, maybe 1 or 2 usable chords for every, 5 non-usable chords. So it's not particularly efficient, but if you're of a mind to just go exploring, I think it's a really beautiful thing. Again, take notes so that the stuff that you discover that you like, you can use again. You can use like little block diagrams, with that look sort of like a fretboard, and draw the dots in. Sometimes I'll use a really shorthand method, like say, well, let me find a nice one. If we were playing this, which is I'm at 8th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret, open, 6, open, I would just write that as 8, 8, 7, 0, 6, 0, and then I wouldn't have to hash out all the other stuff. I could just get back to that by the numbers. So low to high, 8, 8, 7, 0, 6, 0, and so on. So that's a good shorthand that some people use. So another way to get to know these sounds would be to find some songs or pieces that already include them. The classical guitarist and composer Francisco Tárrega was really good about using them, even just in some of his simpler pieces. This is one called Adelita. And here's where the open string thing happens. So it keeps the guitar singing while the melody moves, rather than trying to play in a scale position where the guitar's really shut down. Tárrega would sometimes alternate fretted notes and open notes. That's something Chet Atkins did in some of his pieces. Jim Campolongo is really good at combining fretted notes and open strings. Check out a song of his called "The Prettiest Girl in New York." He recorded it, I think it's on his Orange record. I also recorded a version of it on my Town and Country record. You can hear how it uses open strings and fretted strings. Another way to explore, and this will be the last way that I talk about here, is to take a set chord progression that you're interested in, whether it's a simple kind of 1, 4, 5, like if we're in E, you could play, here's a closed sound, 1, 4, 5, but you could open it up by using open strings. Let me see if I can do one more kind of step of openness. So what I'm doing is, the thought process here is I'm playing an E, some kind of E 3-note shape on strings 3, 4, 5, and I know I want to use the open B. So I could choose to double the B, because that's a B, or I could get away from the doubling and use an alternate note like C sharp, so that's got the 5, the B is the 5, so now it's open. That could be a sound, or this could be a sound. Now I'm playing it as an E major 7. I've got the third and the seventh, and then the B becomes part of the chord here. I could play root sharp 11, 6, and then the B. So that's a neat sound. Those are all just ways of expressing E major something. And then A, I could start with this A triad. I don't have to worry about doubling notes because there's not a B in an A triad. But again, you could get more creative if you wanted to. You could include the major 7. So now that's G sharp is the major 7 of A. What else could I do? Oh, I don't know. I could put the 6th in there. Again, that's the root, but I've got the 6 in there. 6 and major 7 you could have, and so on. And then for the B chord, I'd probably, this would be first inversion B triad. So again, I'm just trying to play 1, 4, 5. I could have the doubled B, or I could, put an add 9. That's the C sharp. That's the 9 on the B chord. I could use a quartal voicing. D sharp, G sharp, C sharp, B, or in that method I just mentioned, 6, 6, 6, open. And again, that's a B chord. If you want to make it more of a dominant sound, you could do this. So now it's B7, so B, D sharp, A, C sharp. So lots of possibilities there. If you're into more kind of jazzy tunes, I made this little etude based on giant steps, which most people play with closed position chords. But you can use open strings. So I'll just play a little bit of it here. See, so this is B major 7, D7 with a 9, G major 7 with that's just G major 7 with the open G. So the first chord has an open B in it. And remember that it's a B chord. So B major 7, D major 7 with an open, or D7 with the B now is the 13 of the D, and we've got the 9 here fretted. G major 7, B flat 7, well it's a 9 really. Now the open string is D. And then this could be E flat major 7 with the open G. The F is the 9. There's really no E flat in this chord, but you might hear it. Oh, sorry, there is an E flat in this chord. It's on the top. What am I saying? So there it is. So that's just the first little phrase. It's then there's a A minor 7, D7. So A minor 7, that's the root, and D7 with open E as the 9, and then the second phrase uses a lot of the same chords. G major 7, B flat 7 with a 9, E flat major 7, here's a 9, and then this is F sharp 7, B major 7, F minor 7, B flat 7, flat 9, E flat major 7, A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, B major 7, F minor 7, B flat 7 with a 13 and flat 9, E flat major 7, and then finally the C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, and then we're back home to the top. So that's the last way that you could use to explore open strings, is just pick a tune that you want to play and try to find open strings wherever you can. I'm going to include a PDF of this because it's complicated. I suppose you could figure it out just from watching my hands here. But I will include a PDF via a Dropbox link, which will be down in the description below. Now, if you like to get PDFs of lessons and like to have extra stuff like MP3s of lessons, and also a chance to study with me one-on-one and access to special guest tips and exclusive playlists and other kinds of special content beyond just the basic, hey, let me show you something here on YouTube. If you want to get more of those sorts of things, extra assets and extra value, please check out Guitar Tips Pro. I will include a link to it down below in the description. Lots more going on there. You pay for it, unlike YouTube, but you get a lot more. It's a good value. So I hope you will check it out, guitartipspro.com. I'll be back here on YouTube next week with something that begins with P, right? L-M-N-O-P. Yeah, that's right. Okay, until then, stay tuned and take good care.